Hi, I have some Amaryllis from last year. They bloomed February of 24. I have let them spend the whole summer outside, and I want to see if we can start the whole thing over. But here's some history.
All right, we're going to start with my Amaryllis, which are way spent from the holiday season. Got 2 of them, and we're going to transplant them into some slightly bigger pots. It's going to be this one. So, just take a moment and we'll get this started.
Now I got some slightly bigger pots here, and I'm putting all fresh soil into those, and I always use the well-draining cactus mix. So I just get them yanked out of the pots and put them on in to the fresh pot. We'll groom them up later, but I've got both of them into a brand new pot. I think they look pretty good. I used some plant tone, didn't have any bulb tone, and didn't want to stop the work and go out to buy some, so the plant tone fed them all summer long. And I think that worked out just fine. But I just smoothed it in there, and I'll let the watering and the rainwater just rinse it through the roots, and they should be just fine.
There, he looks pretty clean. And now the other guy. He's got one hanging right here. There. Now the only other thing I think I'd like to do is try to prop them more upright. So I will try that. Let me go get something from the barn. I think it might be long enough to cut in half and then poke down into there and still have enough for both of them. And then I've got my little Velcro strapping to hold the leaves up, or at least temporarily until they regain enough strength. So let me cut this in half. I'll put this to the side so that we don't poke the bulb. Let me do the same for this one. Let me try and take care of this. I'm going to pull it up, and then let me see about how much of the Velcro I need. Let's say that's enough. Okay. So I'll cut 2 Velcro straps about the same length. And then let me tilt this a little more. And then we will put this Velcro to holding these up. Whoops. See, I'm afraid they're gonna try and fall out of their little container. Now, look at that. Okay. See, I just double wrapped the Velcro. Go. Now let me get the other one. Here we go. And overlap, overlap, overlap. Now I might be able to remove that if it regains any of its strength. All right, there they are. There they go. We have one little strap here. He won't reach up in, but let's hope he gets a little oomph in him. But there's my 2 Amaryllis bulbs to go out this summer. Well, I've finally decided it's time to get these potted up for a rebloom. I don't even know if they're ready. It's after New Year's, and I'm going to try to do the best I can. Basically, it'll be an experiment. So there are the 2 Amaryllis. Some of the leaves have died, some haven't. I have seen some centipedes when I stopped out here, and since those have been outside in the weather, it might be the centipedes. So I gotta get this done. Chosen 2 pots. Hopefully they'll fit. And I've got my soil. And I've got some mixing boxes, and I've got a lot of my systemic insecticide in there because we want to combat the gnats. But we will get to this and see what we can accomplish. Okay. I'm going to try and contain some of this mess in a cardboard box. These are the same ones that have sat outside all summer. Didn't bloom, but we had a lot of healthy leaves. But let's see what we can do with these bulbs. So here we go. I'll try to put the soil out on my other garden. Okay, that was my stick that held it up. And then here we go. What looks like it must have a lot of roots, because it doesn't want to come out. There it comes. Okay, let's look at it. He looks really good, doesn't he? Lots of roots. Okay, so I'm just going to try to pull them apart and expose the bulb. I guess I can go ahead and get rid of the top because we don't need the top. Here's the little side one. He's coming off too. Okay. Looks like there was a side shoot growing off this side, but he doesn't look any too active on the top.
But there we go. So far I don't see any creepy crawlers. Just don't like to see anything that might crawl up on me or crawl up my sleeve. Unfortunately, I'm going to break a lot of these. Side shoots, new bulbs, bulblets. It looks healthy. Maybe when he gets warmed up, he will be ready to bloom. I've just got to find the bottom. Well, I guess I'm going to learn about Amaryllis. That's a pretty big bulb, but he doesn't feel like he wants to come apart. So I don't think I will try. Let me use this. Should have dried them out a lot more. But they came in after a lot of soggy rains in October. And I was not able to get them dried out here in the garage. Hope I'm getting some of this in the camera lens. All right. Okay, set that one aside, and then let's get him started. Oh, I had a little Velcro twist tie to hold him to the stem. Can't see the edge of it, there it is. You can wash him and save him. Now, he has the same nice root system. And again, I don't see any bugs. Well, hopefully there aren't any. I guess just because I don't see them doesn't mean they aren't there. All right. Let's get the sealer. And please give me advice, because I am fairly a novice with Amaryllis. I don't really know what to do with it. I just try my best. So I'm gonna try to expose down to the root. Or I should say the base where the roots come out. Because if I have the correct understanding, I'm going to trim off all these roots, or most of them, so it will grow all new roots in these new pots. So that's what we're working toward. And my hands are cold. Cold day. I'm out here in the garage, so this mess can stay in the garage, but it is chilly in the garage. Look at that.
Am I getting a good visual of that? Okay, now, all this excess dirt is going out into my flower bed because that'll be good for next year. Okay, I'm gonna start cutting off the roots. It's another little bulblet trying to go off the side. Well, if there's any different way I should be doing this, I'll take some advice, and if these survive, we'll just try again next year. Even if we don't get any blooms, it's fun to try, especially something new. So, is he gonna go down in there? Yeah, he'll fit down in there. Now let me finish tearing off some of his roots. Look at that. All right. I didn't see any, well, let's say I didn't see any of the centipedes. Have they all escaped into the garage and will find themselves into my kitchen, etc. Thank God it's time for the bug man to come back. I have one of those bug control things come to the house. We moved into this house, it's been 3.5 years ago, and the first thing we had done is to have it treated because we knew the elderly lady who lived here. It appeared that, there were some issues where, she was not quite able to take care of things like she might have if she were, let's say, in her 60s. But we've just had them come ever since, and I like it. It makes me feel better. So let me set these to the side and clean this up. All right. Okay, these are my 2 bulbs, and I don't remember which is which. I think one was a red and one was a red stripy, so we will work on getting those planted up. And of course I am using insecticide. Okay, warmed my hands up a little, and now put a double bottom just so the soil doesn't fall out. And that's a double. And then here we go. You can see I've got my insecticide, the systemic, in there. Now I'm going to mix in I'll take a look at this once I get it going. There. Now, start by putting a little in here. And this soil has been in the house, so the soil feels warm, which is going to be good for these amaryllis bulbs. It feels good to my hands. A little bit more in there. Okay, and then let me put him over here and him in this one. There. So we'll just put some soil around those edges. Feels a little bit easier to handle it without the gloves on. I've got soil inside there. Okay, now, see that? I'll just put the soil around this. Looks good. Looks good. A little bit. It feels pretty steady in there. Okay. Now, that feels good. And the new one. A little bit more on the sides. I cover that one up a little, but I'm not going to worry about it. He had a little bit of an issue. All right. Now, how's that look? I think that looks pretty good. Now, that is it for both of these. Now I'm going to take these inside. First I've got to go set them down, and then I'll come back after the camera. All right, here they are. Set them down here to kind of warm up. I think they look pretty good. And I will give them a little spritz of cinnamon as an antifungal. And then I also have just the fungicide, miticide, insecticide.
There. Now, I'll let that sit for a minute, then I'll brush it off. And we should be ready to have some amaryllis. Maybe around Valentine's Day. Looks good. It's been 4 days, and these are in here in the warmth now, and they look really good. I can even see a bit of separation where I think they're trying to grow. So, at this point, I'm pretty pleased. We'll just have to wait and see. But they're in here in front of a window. But I will update you later on. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next video.